Welcome to my channel, INTJ Island. Today, I'm going to talk about the INTJ judging preference and how we approach life in a structured way and how it relates to the perceiving preference. When I sit down to a meal, I tend to eat one thing until it is gone from my plate before I move over to another item on my plate. My wife thinks that is funny because she mixes things up and eats some of this and part of that and has all her food going at the same time. This is exactly the way our preferences in doing things in life play out. As an ESTP, she is a perceiver, and as an INTJ, I am a judger. This is not to be confused with our judging functions, of course. My judging function, or the way I tend to make decisions, is extroverted thinking. Her judging function is introverted thinking. We both use thinking to decide or to judge. But our approach to tasks is not at all the same. Just like the way I eat my meals, I take one task at a time, whenever possible, and ignore all other things until that task is completed, or at least as close to completed as I can make it. For example, when I'm creating a video, I set everything else aside as I pull together the material and assemble it into iMovie. I get it the way I want it and then set iMovie to creating the video file. Depending upon the length of the video, the amount of time this takes can vary by quite a bit. While it is creating the file, I only then break from that and start working on the thumbnail image for the video. Unlike with the video creation, I tentatively know that I will have to stop in mid-task in order to go and deal with the video handling. However, I create the file, get it opened up in Photoshop, and create the layout in my mind for the thumbnail, and do as much as I can in moving forward with that until I get the notification that iMovie is done. I set the thumbnail aside long enough to start the video uploading to YouTube. The upload can take up to an hour or so to complete, and so I almost always have the thumbnail fully completed and saved by the time it finishes. I then move to the YouTube video area where I upload the thumbnail. It can be done concurrently with the video uploading. I then check the video title and write the description, including links if there are any. I put in all the tags so people searching for content like what my video contains will be able to find it. I set the video to private so only I can see it when it is finished, because there are some housekeeping things that need to be done before the video can go live. Once the video finishes uploading, I can then do my edits. I add the end links and go through and make suggestions for other videos at points where I think the viewers might find them to be interesting, because they are related to the things I mentioned in the video they are watching. Assuming all these tasks have been done well, I can then finally set the video into a playlist and publish it so it can be seen by everyone. I am tenacious in my determination to stay on course for each one of these steps. I don't want to be distracted by arriving email or calendar notifications, so I shut them off as I am working. I don't want any outside distractions either, and I tend to react badly to them if they should intrude. I want quiet and solitude as I work through the process. If, for some reason, I have to stop and do something else, I aggressively go after that task in the same way that I approach my video creation. I attack the problem and run it to completion as quickly as I can so I can return to my primary task of doing the video. The entire time I am doing the alternate task, I am thinking about this unfinished business in my mind. When there are multiple tasks in a project, my approach is to go after one of the tasks and drive it as far as I can towards completion before moving to another of the required tasks. I prioritize all the tasks and hit the one that is either the most critical or one that can be completed so quickly that it will not tie up my time for long and I can be done with it to clear away the time I need to do a bigger task of higher priority. But once I have identified the most important task in the project, that one has my focus, and I will be driven to get at that task and get it completed. Once completed, the next item on the task list comes into my sights, and I go after it in the same way. My wife is very different in the way she approaches life and its demands. She always has a wide swath of unrelated tasks going on at the same time. She nibbles at them, does some of this and then some of that. She can spend an entire day repeatedly saying, "I have to," and fill in the blank for some task. She will start to do it and then get distracted by some other thing and do part or all of that. A few tasks later, she will once again comment on how she has to get at that first task. It is like a ball bouncing around in a pinball machine, the way she moves from task to task, sometimes completing them, but most often only partially completing them, and only bringing them to completion after several detour trips into other tasks. I would be driven to madness if I had to live life that way. But she is happy as can be, bouncing from this to that and back to this again. Have you ever watched a small child who is laughing and chasing bubbles in the wind? First going after this one and then that, enjoying life in a free and happy way that is amazing and forces you to smile, no matter what else is going on in your life? Her approach to life is very much like that, and it is one of the things I love about her. She is a bit of chaotic joy in my structured INTJ life. She is unpredictable and sometimes frustrating when her perceiving interrupts my judging straight-line intentions. But I wouldn't change a thing about her. One of the things that makes her perceiving approach workable is the fact that she is infinitely patient, even though you wouldn't know it to listen to her as she bangs into one wall after another as she strives to accomplish complex and very difficult tasks. I don't know if you have ever set up a V-bulletin message board, but it is a daunting task. There is very little about the design that feels natural or intuitive. There are hundreds of details you have to get right for your board to work at all, and a lot more things have to be set up properly to make it look good and do all the things that you want it to do. I honestly can't even imagine how hard that would be to do as a perceiver. But my wife did that, and I didn't help her do it either. She was complaining and using expletives to color the air around her as things failed to work, and so she tried something else. As an extrovert, she naturally tends to talk her way through things. I literally have to leave the room when she is doing this sort of thing, because it sounds like she is asking me questions, but she is not. She is asking herself, and then finds her own answers. I often have trouble sorting out if she is talking to me or not. It sounds the same either way. But she is tenacious. She never gives up. She beats any problem into submission through attrition. Bit by bit, she moves forward, finds intellectual purchase in her new position, and then goes after pushing the problem even further back. She doesn't know what the word quit means, and most of the time she would rather work all night and solve the problem herself than to ask me for help, even knowing that I might take care of it in minutes. And when she is done, she takes pride in the fact that she did it, and she did it herself on her own. She usually takes a path that would match the flight of a bumblebee to move from point A to point B, but by golly, she gets there. What is funny about this is that we both have the same view of the other one. We admire each other and our accomplishments, but we would go mad if we had to live like that. She thinks I am uptight and worry way too much about the details and working out all the potential problems before I start. I think she needlessly wastes time going this way and that rather than taking a straight course. We are very different in our approaches, and yet we respect each other and are very proud of our mate. I am the one who is naturally a tech person, but it was my wife who created a web page that was in the top 75,000 of all web pages on the entire internet at one time. When you realize how many millions of websites there were at the time, that was a huge accomplishment. I didn't do that. She did, my little ESTP perceiver. So, while I live life as a judger, and I wouldn't have it any other way, nothing can shake my great admiration for what a perceiver can accomplish in life. How do you approach tasks? If you are a judger, how do perceivers strike you? If you are a perceiver, what do you think about judgers? Please share your thoughts in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, please click like. And if you haven't subscribed yet, please do. I'll see you next time.